Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to English grade 7. Today students, we will start our lecture number 1 of our unit number 7 called Historical Marvels. I hope that you have read the lesson and we will begin our lesson series with the lecture of grammar. And today we have the topic of adverb clauses. I'm sure that you are aware of what is an adverb and what is a clause. Let's see them together and try to identify them as well. Here is your students' learning outcome. Let's read it. It says, use adverb clauses as needed in their speech and writing. Yes, we will talk about adverb clauses. And here is your vertical linkage, which links your SLO with the previous grade. This is for additional information and for your interest. Now, students, what do you know about adverbs? You know that they are parts of speech and they are used for showing the manner of something and also other variations as well. So, can you think of any phrases or clauses that provide more information about time, about reason, or condition in a sentence? Yes. Now, can you come up with examples of phrases and clauses? First, think about these two and then try to actually find out that what are these different adverbs that we know. They are mostly ending in ly, and they are the adverb of time, place, manner, and also different things. All right. The purpose of our brainstorming is fulfilled. I hope that you have done it. So let's talk about adverb clauses. An adverb clause is a subordinating clause. Students, you know that clauses are of two types: subordinating clause and also independent clause. Now, subordinating clauses are dependent. They are also called dependent clauses. They are dependent on independent clauses and they require some more information. So it means that an adverb clause is basically a clause or subordinating clause that modifies a verb or adjective or any other adverb. So what is the purpose of adverb clauses? They are actually adding more information and it is modifying our verbs. They are modifying and adding something more in our adjectives and also in our adverbs. It begins with a subordinating conjunction. As we know that conjunctions are of three types: coordinating, subordinating, and correlative. Subordinating conjunctions are conjunctions that we use for subordinating clauses. So all these conjunctions can be used in our adverb clauses. It tells you how, when, where, why, or to what extent something happens, or you describe something to these qualities. You answer how something happened, when, where, why, and at what point, what limit, or what extent it happened. So we need to answer all these questions in our adverb clauses. So let's revise. Adverb clauses are subordinating clauses. It means they are dependent. And dependent clauses are always starting with subordinating conjunctions. And apart from the coordinating conjunctions, which are fanboys, the rest of the conjunctions are subordinating conjunctions, like while, like whether, or all these kinds of subordinating conjunctions. They are used in clauses and mostly subordinating clauses. Now, students, you must know that a clause has a subject and a verb most importantly, unlike a phrase which does not have a subject or a verb. Now, let's look at some examples over here. Beyond its historical weight, Kila Bala Hisar holds a geographical importance. Now, first thing we are looking for is a conjunction. Can you find any conjunction? Yes, beyond. This is a conjunction, and this is a subordinating conjunction because we are having a subordinating clause. Why is it called a subordinating clause? Because if you read it, beyond its historical weight, this is incomplete. We require more information. We want more information to add. So that's why we link it with our independent clause. So beyond is an adverb. So it means that this subordinating clause is actually having an adverb, which makes it an adverb clause. So first, what we will do is we will identify an adverb, and we will identify any kind of conjunction, and mostly they should be subordinating conjunction. We can see them together working, and we can call them adverb clauses. All right, let's look at another example. When things were not going so well, the blue mosque stood out. Now, we know that we need to answer how, when, where, or to what extent something happened. So, we have the word when. Things were not going so well. We have subject and verb as well. So, this makes it a clause, and we have an adverb, and this is, as we know, is an incomplete clause. It means it is dependent. It is subordinating clause. We need more information. We have an adverb and we have a subordinating clause with a subject and a verb. This makes it a complete sense, and then we will call it adverb clause. So when things were not going so well, this is a clause and it contains a verb, hence we call it adverb clause. Now students, I hope that now you can find any kind of adverb clause in any text. Here, can you find out the adverb? When the sun began to set. This is our clause, and this is our subordinating clause or dependent clause. It has an adverb. It does not make complete sense because it is a dependent clause. So dependent clause plus adverb, it makes up an adverb clause. Now, another example is, although often overshadowed by its size, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is an engineering marvel. So we have our subordinating conjunction, although often overshadowed by its size. This is a clause because this is a clause of subordinating. So it means this is dependent on this part of the clause which is independent. So it means that this is a subordinating clause with a conjunction which is always a subordinating conjunction. So subordinating conjunction and our subordinating clause, it makes it an adverb clause. So now here the word often is an adverb of frequency. It tells us how often something happens. So when we combine our subordinating conjunction with subordinating clause and adverb, we can call it an adverb clause. And this is always subordinating clause because it requires you to give more information, and that's why it is followed by a comma, and then you have your independent clause. Now, students, for the classroom activity, you may pause the video right now. You can see this activity and perform it. Read the following passage and highlight the adverb clauses from it. In the heartland of ancient China, it stretches across rugged terrain extending as far as the eye can see. So by reading all that, this whole paragraph or passage, now focus on the subordinating clauses and look for conjunctions and adverbs. If you see them both in one subordinating conjunction, in one subordinating clause, you can call it an adverb clause. So you have to have a conjunction, an adverb, and also it has to be dependent clause or subordinating clause. Now, I hope that you have done this activity. This is your simulation video, which you can watch later for extensive information and for interesting information and learning as well. A worksheet is attached. Now here, you have to use adverb clauses as needed here. The adverb clauses are given. All these subordinating conjunctions and adverbs are given, and you have to put them in the right place. Now, for your homework, you are going to read the following passage and highlight adverb clauses, exactly like you did in your classroom activity. Here are all the resources for your understanding and help. And that's all about today's lecture, students. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that the learning outcome is clear. Now we can easily identify any adverb clause in our speech and in our while we are reading something or writing something as well. Catch you up in the next video lesson, students. Allah Hafiz.